So let's move on to Travis Hunter. Let's talk about somebody else's business. Uh, Travis Hunter, I guess the last game he went to reach his girl, give his girl a hug, and she kind of after him making some game winning plays, whatever. His girl, everybody noticed some negative energy in their relationship at that point. So everybody started doing a little bit more digging into their relationship. You see that she says, "Oh, he wasn't my type when I first met him." He grew on me, and now we're in super love and all this type of stuff. Uh, I have my thoughts on this, but the internet is tearing this man up. They calling him everything but simp. They saying that this girl ain't for him. She's an opportunist. He need to get a prenup. This, that, and the third. He was a high school player, I believe, dating her while she was in college. After they finally hooked up, like I said, she dubbed him in the DM a bunch of times, and finally he finally broke through. So now they've been in a long term relationship. I'm not sure how long. I don't follow celebrities like that. I'm not digging too deep in nobody's relationship, so I'm just kind of giving you a report of the news here. But what I've heard, but where I want to approach this, I don't want to bash Travis Hunter. I'm not sure if my co-host thoughts they share the same thought as the rest of the internet feels, is that this man needs to get a prenup, this man is a simp, or he's simping for this woman. I want to know what y'all thoughts are on the situation, and then we'll move later on in the discussion. We'll move on to how we would handle the situation if Travis Hunter was our son or if his girlfriend was our daughter. So, not all at once. Both of y'all on mute.
All right, fine.
All right,
So,
fine.
two things.
Go ahead.
Absolutely. Okay, so let me preface it by saying I don't know enough about her or him outside of him playing football, but if this is my son, absolutely you getting a prenuptial agreement because you're gonna protect the millions that you're gonna earn and quite frankly have already made based off of your ability. We're not talking about a young lady who helped him build to this. This is stuff that he's earned off of his God given ability. So absolutely protect yourself from a business standpoint, period. If you decide to take care of that woman and take care of her for the rest of your life, let it be on your choice. Period. Second, I don't know enough about the clip. I saw him too eating her up, talking about she was mad that he was talking to the cheerleaders or something. I think the internet just be reaching, man. The internet just be hating. But again, for my son, they young, man. They young, and so I don't really have a problem with you know her saying those things because maybe that is their truth.
Yeah.
And you know how I know from a guy standpoint, there were some girls that maybe you were kind of attracted to, but as you kind of got to vibing with them and kicking it with them and seeing what they had to offer, it kind of became something. So I know the internet, they calling them ugly and all of this. Like she too pretty for him. She want his money. Maybe, but maybe not too. Like people, you can see that he's a cool kid and a vibe. Maybe she genuinely like his personality. I know he be on Twitch and real playful and fun. Maybe she really likes that and they hit it off. They're both kids. But if it's my son, the first thing we're doing is protecting ourselves. Again, if you choose to love this woman and take care of her, great. You're going to have more than enough money to, but you're not going to put yourself in a situation where you can be taken advantage of.
Mm-hmm. And I'm just gonna give y'all a little bit more information because it just dawned on me while we sitting up here thinking. But I seen clips of her walking around saying, and I'm a reserve judgment. I'm just telling you, I'm just reporting because they young. And so I know how young and being in love, quote unquote, these insecurities arrive. But like she's saying that he can't be in the room alone with females by himself. That's a rule they have in their relationship. He said that same vice versa for her. Like she can't be in the room alone with men. So it seems that she's a highly insecure person. So I don't think that the internet is reaching too far with the way she reacted to him after that game. And like y'all can do the research on the clip yourself. That's why I'm a reserve judgment because I know I've been young in a relationship and I know how tumultuous those things can be when you're dealing with a person that's a lot of people know or whatever the case may be. So
Right.
I know how that goes. But
Right.
yeah. So just move forward. Like I don't think it's too much of a reach, but I just want to add that in there. But as far as protecting yourself, I think you spot on. I would definitely advise my son the same thing as well. Tay, what's your perspective? You have all daughters, Tay, so I want to know what's your perspective and what are your thoughts on this?
Well, just having all daughters, the first thing I'm gonna say is, if my daughters are marrying a man of the status of a Travis Hunter, I really want them to play the background. Don't be out and make yourself a target for social media. You know, nobody really knew much about Denzel Washington's wife for a lot of years, and she very rarely comes out and says hardly anything. Um, the other part is if I'm just coming at it from a straight, what's in the best interest of my daughters, then if he don't give a prenup, no, go ahead and get locked in. You know, right? And that's just real
Yeah.
life.
That's
You
real.
know,
That's
at the
real.
end of
Yeah.
the day. But I also tell them they need to make sure that they pick a man that they really want to be on this program. You know what I'm saying? Is this something you want to deal with? This man gonna face a level of temptation that you may not understand. You know, so it's just something to really grasp in that concept. As far as the way she responds to him, and from the clips I seen, and just kind of the little snippets and all of those things, I think, man, it's just kind of that narrative that everything is equal, and I just don't really believe that. So if my daughters were going to marry a guy like that and he came with him with a prenup, I'd also say, hey, how do you really feel about this man? If everything is what you say it is, then marry him, be with him, you know, but choose because of his character, not because of what you think you can get out of the situation. And if you make that choice and you feel like, hey, no, I chose the right guy, he's great character, he gonna take good care of me, then I don't think you got nothing to worry about,
Hmm.
you know. And just realistically, you know, I think for Travis Hunter, man, he 21 years old. I remember being 21 and I knew everything about absolutely nothing. So in that sense, I really give him some grace and just understand, man, like young dudes, man, testosterone through the roof. He in the peak of his physical fitness. Man, his judgment might be clouded in some aspects of dealing with her because he really do feel like, yo, I want to love her and really take care of her and show her the best side of me and the best side of life. And I just think, you know what I'm saying, like both of them need some coaching on what their position is. You know, she need to play the background because just this little subtle clip of her kind of having an attitude went viral, and it should really be a wake up call to say, hey, nah, everything I do will be scrutinized. And the way that he responds, he also need to get that coaching from Coach Prom to understand that, hey, Coach Prom been in love. You know, he been through this situation, and we know money changes people. I think I mentioned this to Lamar before some time ago. I had a cousin who played in the NFL, and every time he posts something on Facebook, everybody, he, love you, cousin. I love you so much. Like, man, we don't even talk like that in my family. But that money changes the way people respond to you. So I think he just has to take those things into consideration. Um, I think he should play smart, but I also think if he isn't choosing wisely, then she need to play smart. And if that means she can get married without the prenup and things are more in her favor, man, that's on them to decide when it's all said and done. You know, I just hope it works out for the best, and I hope it is really love and that it's enduring and they can really go through the fire and figure things out. But I also think, man, like it's hard to say, man. These young guys been told everything they supposed to give a woman and probably none of what they supposed to get.
Yeah. The expectations of what they should expect from a woman. I know a lot of people might hear this and think that we being kind of one sided in this aspect, but no, this is real life. And I think you spot on, Tay, with them needing some coaching, even some counseling, because she's gonna have to deal with that insecurity. There's going to be times where Travis Hunter is going to be alone in the room with a woman, whether it's signing a contract. It might, he might get with a woman lawyer. It's not realistic, her expectations that I've seen her say. And that's how you can tell it's a level of immaturity there and that she needs coaching.
Yeah. And I mean, just realistically, like, man, this guy is a celebrity right now. And he ain't even signed an NFL contract. You know, he got money, he got status, he got attention. Like, man, everywhere he turn, it's gonna be beautiful women pursuing him.
Hmm.
You know, and I think it just takes them to have a real understanding as far as like, oh, you can never be in a room and doing that. I think that's something they need to figure out a better way about handling those things, because when you 10, 15 years in, yeah, you might not feel like playing that game no more. But right now it sounds cute and you in love and all of those sort of things. So I just think they need to figure out how to approach that, and find some better solutions to handle that. As far as her insecurities, I'm not sure you ever gonna really get outside that, because I think that just kind of comes with age. You're gonna face some insecurities from a woman that's 30, 40, 50, 60 years old. And that's just because all people have them. But especially, like, man, you might see some women who she feels like are more attracted than her trying to get with him, or going out of their way to be in the vicinity. I think there was a clip of LeBron running down an escalator the wrong direction to get away from some girls one time. So I mean, it's just something I don't know if she is fully prepared for, to understand, like, yeah, this gonna be his life for the foreseeable future. And more than anything, she need to choose her times to address anything with him more in a private manner.
Get the prenuptial agreement, young man. If you're my son, that's what I'm telling them.
One thing I do like about their relationship, just from a outside looking in, is that he really genuinely loves this woman. You can see it. You know what I mean? And these kids are a little bit different than how we grew up. So he ain't, it don't seem like he got a player bone in his body. He just genuinely enjoying her presence and being in love with her. He even sounds giddy when he talks to her and talks about her from the clips that I've seen. So that's one thing I really like about it, is that he's in love. But we do know that, when your nose is that wide open for a woman, that can lead to disaster. So
What does Mama say?
What'd you say?
What does Mama say?
I don't know. We need to hear from Mrs.
What
Hunter.
does Mama got to say?
Yeah, we need to hear from Mrs. Hunter, because I'm pretty sure she got a lot to say. Yeah, man.
Get the prenup, young man.
Yeah. But with that being said, man, we talk a lot about masculine energy and being man. Like, do y'all think that there's one way to be a man? To be to exude masculine energy? Do you think it's a set of guidelines that you have to have? Do you think it's a certain energy? You think what? How do y'all feel about it? How do y'all feel about that statement? Is there one way to be a man?
I would say no, just off the question, because just off the question alone, the man in me thinks, how can you tell me how to be a man? So I don't think it's one way. But I think there are strong characteristics of what manhood really looks like, and a lot of that is doing what you say you're going to do, following through, being genuine, wanting to build. We act like only certain people are ambitious, like it's hereditary. It's really not. I think that's the opposite of manhood. I think the opposite of I think manhood in itself is accepting the challenge that we got to hunt and that we got to build. I think that's really what it comes down to. How you deal with people, how you communicate with women. A lot of that's personality based. But I think the objective of a man is knowing that you have to build. And sometimes or majority of the time, that's in the form of hunting, right? You eat what you kill. And so, yeah, I don't think it's, a lot of the podcasts, acting like you got to rule everything with an iron fist. I don't think that's necessarily manhood, cussing everybody out, want to beat everybody up. But I think the manhood part is understanding that we need to get to A to Z. And if it's me being quiet and playing slow or whatever the case may be so we can get there, I'm going to put us on our back and get us there.
Tay?
Yeah, I agree with that. I also think it's just about, a big part of being a man is just having a plan and some principles that you can really stick to and follow through, and just being willing to figure it out, and find your way on that. I think probably the biggest thing that, especially a Travis Hunter might have to look out for is, don't allow her to define what a man is. You know, he has to determine that for himself, and we all have to determine that for ourselves, and then go forward and say, "Hey, this is who I am. This is what I'm about. This is the plan and the direction I'm going in." And you know, let the chips fall where they may after that. So I don't think there's one exact way, other than the fact that just knowing as a man, sometimes you're gonna have to face some hard challenges. You need to stand up and keep going, take accountability and responsibility, and keep moving.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I don't think it's one way to be a man either, because for all intents and purposes, I really didn't have a man raise me. I've had nothing but, for the most part, I won't say it was completely that, but for the most part, I had bad examples of what a man is around me. I've had alcoholics, I've had womanizers, I've had all the above. Thank God I was wise enough not to want to be like the majority of the picture that I saw around me, and I want to just continue to elevate my life based on what I thought was morality and principles, as like you just spoke of. You know what I mean? And I had a lot of God in there as well. You know, like my mom got me in the church young, and so I seen men operate in the church in a different way. Even though I didn't stick with the church, you know, that definitely was a good baseline for me to kind of discover myself. And then the military helped the rest of the way with the hunting aspect and everything like that. But yeah, I didn't have a whole lot of examples, so I don't think it's one way either.
Thank you for your service.
I appreciate that, brother. I'll do it again. Even though you like to talk about my flag, but I'll do it again. All right, man. Let me see for.